Welcome to the Land Investing Business Secret Podcast, where each short episode we talk about the strategies, experiences, and the tools to help you launch, grow, and scale your land business. Learn how to find freedom within your own business, find out ways to build consistency in your processes, and hear how other everyday land investors are winning so you can get to the next step closer to building your dream life through your land business. And I'm your host of the Land Investing Business Secrets Podcast by Pebble, Jessey Kwong. Hey, how's it going? It's Jessey here of the Land Investing Business Secrets Podcast. I've got an awesome guest today, Revenue Ricardo. He's a good friend of mine, and it's just so cool to have him on the show. Man, he's just so active. You're going to see on this show, he does a lot, and he's also in the nitty gritty. You may not be able to tell on this episode here, but we didn't get into things that are like super, super technical, but man, he is technical with even his technology and his insights onto that too. So anyways, I think you should have a pen and paper type of an episode. And we talk about a lot of different things about his exit strategies to like why he loves mobile homes and why, he subdivides to, certain things to look out for in the market and counties when picking and so on and so forth. Anyways, tons in this episode. I hope you enjoy this one with Revenue Rick. Cheers. All right. How's it going, everybody? I've got my special guest here, Revenue Ricardo, but we're going to call him Revenue Rick here. How you doing, man?
How you doing today, man, Jesse? Excited to be here today, man.
I was just saying, holy smokes, I feel like I'm interviewing a music video. So if you're not watching live right now or not watching on the video, you got to check it out because Rick has his fish eyes. He's got a nice setup and I love the shades as well. So nonetheless, let's just start like really quickly. Help us understand how you got into real estate investing. Where did you start from? What did you get into? What are you doing nowadays?
I got into real estate investing, I'd say about 5 years ago, around after the pandemic. I purchased some land prior to that, but I just kind of was buying some land for some retail locations that I have. And a friend of mine talked to me about wholesaling, so I got in there and started wholesaling, flipping, same old game, and then I finally got to the land thing.
How did you go from wholesaling, I'm assuming single family homes or houses, let's just say, into land? Like how did you sort of fall upon land?
Um, I was doing a bunch of stuff. I was flipping mobile homes. I was buying houses, trying to flip houses. I was trying to wholesale. I was doing everything. But I started to notice one thing that was really working the most. And I know everybody was kind of caught up in the flipping world, thinking that's like the best next golden thing. So I said, I got to figure out what separates me and what makes more sense and just have the bottom line the best.
So what was that? If you're not flipping land, what are you doing with land then?
Really understanding the zoning, subdividing it and cutting it up into tracts and then either developing or reselling parcels, because what I've realized, the value's not in the house, the value's in the dirt. And I didn't realize that till kind of like recently, because I'll say back in 2015, before I was in real estate, I bought a house out in where I'm from or whatever. And I noticed on the other side of the county, the same exact house, same exact square foot, same exact layout was double the price. And at the time, I could never understand why it was like that. Why we're in the same county and why is the same house, same everything, double the price, same builder, everything. So flash forward to the day, I realized that the value's in the land, not in the structure when you're going vertical.
How much weight would you put on that? Like the land versus the structure itself? Is it really the land that dictates the difference between property A and property B, given the house is the same? Is it all, or is it the area, or help us
I mean, it's
understand?
the land and the comps and it's the area, but the land is gold because, look at it. Even if you try to go and when you go to do cost seg or bonus depreciation, and people familiar with that, they only do that on the structure. I got parcels of land where you can't do a bonus, a cost segregation or none of that type of stuff on. Because in no type of bonus depreciation, because the land does not depreciate, but they'll do it on the structure of the house. So that, just judging off of that, that goes to show, the value is just 100% in the dirt,
So what does it look like nowadays? You're just hunting for parcels of land and you paying attention to just like specific zoning, specific subdividing opportunities. What do you look out for?
The zoning. All I care about is zoning and residential density. That's number one to me. I don't care about nothing else. That's what I'm looking for because I want to know, can I subdivide that lot into multiple parcels to stretch it even further? That's
So,
that's that's what I'm looking for.
so you're really not dealing with like rural land to subdivide. You're looking at
Correct. Yeah, rural too. Rural, all parcels. Me, I've tried to jump around the state prior to me, thankful to you making Pebble to make it easy for us, people that's in the land space. And, I tried some other guys and used their system. I'm not going to name them, but thankful for you, you finally develop a system to help land investors, you know, to couple all our stuff in one and not just only focus on houses like everybody else do. So for me trying to wholesale and do it through all out the state, I realized that you need to stick to a county or two. I got the best success with it being local though.
really.
Yeah, I just got the best success with it being where I can go touch it and walk it and do stuff like that, because I know the people at the departments, because every time you switch counties and you switch cities, there's so many different rules. And once you nail down and understand the zoning and the rules in that particular county, you unstoppable then.
Other than like, okay, well, like if somebody's starting out and they're looking for a county to work out of, like what are like ideal things to look out to pick out in a county? Like they're not sure and they're going to invest time to see if this county is worth it. And they're going to invest time to know the people there. What would you say? Hey, look out for these things. These are some green flags. These are some good signs of a good county to work out of. What are, at a high level, what would you suggest?
I'm really going to say, how fast is everything selling? That's going to be number one. How fast is everything
And,
selling?
and hold that thought. So how do you check how fast things are selling?
Me, I do, to keep it simple, I just go on Zillow and I go to recently sold. I don't, you don't need no special systems. Either you
Yeah.
can use that or they got a new system now that's fairly cheap, that's $59 a month called Land Portal. And you pretty much can get everything you need out of Land Portal with a low subscription cost. But if you just want to don't spend no money, I recommend it just keeping it basic, going to Zillow, and just look at the time on the market, which the average parcels are selling. And I'm the guy. I like to stick to where it's happening at, and maybe stretching out a little bit on the outer skirts of a major metropolitan area, and focusing on that.
Hmm. Okay, so the time on market is important for you. What else is important for you when you're choosing a county?
The time on market. Um, I would say the price of the land too. You don't really. It's kind of rich. You got certain areas where parcels are 300, 400,000 small parcels. I would kind of stay away from that. If you're a beginning, if you're not a veteran at it, I would
Yeah.
kind of stay away from that. But that's
Mm.
one of the biggest things, the availability of how much parcels are left. And I just feel as though the market time matters the most to me.
What's a good number of like what give us a measurable here when it's like good market on good time on the market.
Um, Good time on the market can vary, but I'll give it 90 days, man. 90 to 100, 90 to 120. We
Mm.
got to get out of that COVID 30-day, 15-day,
Right.
100 buyer type. We got to let that go and realize it's gone and it's never going to happen again. You got some markets that still like that, but just keep in mind when you get in a market like that, the profit margins are going to be much smaller, and you got to realize it's turned into a volume thing. So you're going to be hunting for deal after deal after deal,
Yeah.
trying to get more sales. So it's just pros and cons on what you pick.
So help me understand, what are you making in terms of an offer nowadays then? Things are obviously not like what they used to be
Mhm.
so if you want to put, cents to a dollar or how much are you typically offering?
What I'm doing right now is I'm offering. It just varies, because some of the lots I build on. So sometimes, since I'm going to build on it, I could pay a little bit more money. If I
Right.
feel as though the build time and the subdividing takes more time, so obviously we have to wholesale some of these things to keep the lights on and to pay for the marketing dollars and to pay for all these systems, to keep going. So if I ever had to guess, I would say 60% on the dollar, man. Because I'm going, not only that, I'm going to look at what other parcels are selling, I'm going to look at what other houses are selling as well, because I know I'm going to probably be selling to a builder or individual that's going to build on that particular parcel. So I'm watching house sales and land sales as well, because anybody that's going to buy a piece of land is going to build on it, obviously. so,
Right.
so
Right.
all the numbers matter. So, but for hindsight, to keep it basic, I go 60 cents on a dollar, and I just kind of go from there.
Did you mention you also like okay, other than you've got so many exit strategies here. You may wholesale it, you may subdivide it, you may do you develop on there as well yourself?
Correct, correct. My main strategy is not wholesaling.
Okay.
Wholesaling is just if I got extra deals, too many deals in the pipe,
Yeah.
and I just need to make 10 or 20 or 15 grand to keep moving, or whatever number that is,
Yeah.
that's why I wholesale. I do not really, that's not like my main strategy, because I get larger lump sums when I buy a parcel, chop the parcel up into pieces,
Yeah.
and then sell individual parcels. And that caused me to can slow down on, sometimes I can turn the marketing off, because I got so many deals rolling in, and I can make larger lump sums of money doing it that way. So that's why I choose to understand the residential density, understand the zoning, and then subdivide those parcels and sell them off to either somebody that want to develop all,
Yeah.
or individual people, which will take a little bit longer because you got so many different people you got to sell a piece of land to.
Or you go ahead and develop it, is that right?
Correct, correct, correct,
So how
correct.
do
So,
you weigh out, okay, I understand with the wholesaling side of things, but
mhm,
between subdividing and develop, I mean, obviously, I would think subdividing is a lot less work. So
yeah,
when do you say, hey, this makes sense? And obviously, most people that are listening are probably not in the development space, but it seems like you have background there. I don't know if we've spoken, and I know you do have background there, but
correct.
so when does it make sense for you to actually develop? Like, why not just pass it over? I just find that interesting.
Because sometime developing, it's just a larger lump sum of money.
Mm,
But you got to factor in the numbers, because sometimes it can be tricky, because you think it's a larger lump sum of money, but when you factor in interest and the time to develop it, when you get to the end, sometimes it comes out to be not as much as you think it is. So it sounds more until you put it on paper, because obviously the average person is, we're all borrowing money to make these deals work. And when you don't factor in holding costs and holding time, sometimes it doesn't make sense, because I always take the net profit at the end and I divide it by how many months it takes to do the deal. That's what I feel like makes more common sense to me. So in some cases, if I can make 20 grand in 30 days, but only make, let's say, 60 grand, but it took 6 months, to me, in my mind, even though the 60 is bigger than the 20, in my head, the 20 at a shorter time is more money, because it's a faster result. So I weigh
right.
out each deal that way, and sometimes if I'm doing too much deals, like right now I'm doing too much on the
Yeah.
developmental side, I tend to start not developing them and just getting them out of there, because of that as well, because it's just too much interest getting kicked out waiting for them to take so long to develop these deals.
So, I mean, if the number, it sounds like if the numbers make sense, you're going to do the development. So, would you ever
Right.
suggest someone who's doing flips already, maybe they do some subdividing already. Would you ever
Hmm.
say, hey, you should go and check out the development game and learn that as well?
Of
Or
course, you wasting your time flipping. You just wasting your time, because new construction at the end of the day is going to be easier, because you're not going to find those hidden costs and different things inside of there.
right.
People think that that new construction is difficult, and they also think in their mind that it's going to be faster. You always looking at 0 to 6 months, 0 to 9 months, and a lot of these flips because you always find something in the inside. You always end up with a stop work order. You always end up with just hidden costs, and then your margins get shrunk. So at least when you're doing new construction and new development, you know where everything is going and every piece of the puzzle, and you ain't got to worry about no secrets, because for some reason, every time I flip, I was always over budget, far. so, so to me, I just stay away from that game because I can't predict the numbers the correct way.
Sorry. What I meant was if somebody is not dealing with like flipping houses, but they're getting raw land, they can find land, they know how to subdivide. My question is, should they also learn to develop as well? They're not dealing with anything other than just land. Should they learn how to develop and build properties as well?
Correct. Absolutely. 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 Because you want to kind of do a mixture of both, so mixture of both, and that helps you understand the developmental game. But if
Mm,
you don't want to do both, I'm going to say develop it and sell it to somebody else and let them stick to that. So you won't be just doing too many things at one time until you get experience in this game. So my recommendation would be no, chop it up, sell off the parcels, keep moving.
okay.
And that's my recommendation for anybody. Understand zoning, understand residential density, and you're only understanding that for the builder purposes. So
Okay.
you could, when you market it off, to sell it off.
Okay. So what you're saying is if I'm a land investor, I should just rather than flipping raw land, maybe subdivide on that, if possible, get into subdividing, but don't get into development, pass that off to a developer instead. Is that right?
Correct. Or a single individual. So
Okay.
you can say, well, when I say development sometime, you can
Yeah.
come in there, just you don't gotta go crazy. You
Mm,
can, because what I've learned is, let's say I found I had 2 tracks, I was marketing it, right? It's 2 tracks, and I was trying to sell it. I was having a hard time selling on the market. So I said, all right, I called my guys, I said, go clear the land. Don't go clear all of it. Just clear half of it.
got
We're
it.
gonna clear half of it, enough for them to build on it, and we're gonna go ahead and get the addresses and do the permit to construct. Right? I wasn't getting no calls. I went in there, boom, they done that. That was done within 10 days. I told the photographer, come back out, reshoot the drone footage. Phone started ringing off the hook.
So you're talking about not actually getting into construction, but you can do some preliminary development, like clearing
Correct.
out the land. So what are some of the common ones that can just make it so much easier to pass over to an actual developer that will construct something on there? You mentioned cleaning up the land. What else?
If it's not city sewer, doing a permit to construct, getting the perk test done, and doing getting they call it the permit to construct, and then using that to get the address. So now your land, the raw land is addressed already, and
Mm,
that's just it's not a hard task, but it's hard for people who's not familiar in the space.
got it.
That makes sense?
No, for sure. So
Yeah.
my next question is like, what's the best way for somebody who again, like they're just used to flipping land and they
hmm
want to subdivide, they want to prep the land for, new construction, they're in a residential zoning area. You know, what's the best way to build a relationship with other sort of developers so that you can pass your property over to them? What are some easy ways?
The best ways I've found is REI meetings in the local REI Facebook groups.
Mm,
All the key swingers are there. They're going to be there, and they're all constantly watching and looking and commenting. And if you go to most of those groups, you you can see pretty much the same people comment. So
yeah,
I believe, that's probably the fastest way to find a buyer, other than going online and maybe searching and seeing some different new construction development, and
yeah,
then using Pebble and just figuring out who owns that parcel and who bought that parcel, and
yeah,
then maybe cold calling them or sending some mailers out to their offices, because I get them all the time. I
right.
get them all the time to my office, so I know what they're doing.
So let's just say I'm at an event. A lot of people are brand new to this or they're not used to going to a local REI meetup. What should I do? I see a bunch of people. Do I just go up and tell them, "Hey, you know, introduce yourself? What are you looking for? Do I just let them know, hey, I've got parcels? Like, what's smooth here? What seems
Just
natural here?
only thing you got to do is understand the language. You don't need to know everything. Study the language, understand the language, and go talk to people. Whenever you at the events, don't stand there and just act dumbfounded. Just talk. It's all just gonna come out, you know. If you just know the basics, the minimal, let that other person talk, everything just gonna feed off right. But you gotta get out there and let them know who you are. Like where I'm from, they know I'm the land guy. I
Mhm.
get DMs about it. Different people call about. They know what I am now. I'm known. I'm the land. You know. That's what I'm known for now. Buying land. You know. I don't even really get calls about houses anymore. I used to get calls, but both now it's just parcels. I see this here. I see that there. But like I said, go talk to people. Just talk. Just be you. You know.
Uh,
But you got to get in the rooms though. You got to get in the rooms because you just got to get in the rooms. You know.
I've man, I just wrote this. It was a newsletter or post recently. It hasn't gone out yet, but I
Yeah.
just talked about, the power of like, it's like almost like, I don't know, if you ever played games back in the day, it's like the game genie of every, games. It's like
Correct.
go and have conversation, and like it's like the cheat code to business. I look back and on everything that I've done and what other people have done and moved quickly. It's like it's I always hated that word networking, and that just never sat with me. And it's really what you just said. Just go and say hi and have a conversation. Maybe explain to them what you're doing, or maybe explain to some of the challenges. Ask, play dumb, learn as much as you can. And that's how I do it, at least, to build a
Correct.
relationship. And it's so crazy how lubricating it can be to get you in position to do more stuff. I'm obviously in the tech side of the world. It's the exact same thing.
Correct.
I
Across all businesses. It's the
yeah,
same thing.
yeah,
You know, whatever you're doing in whatever business, they got meetups, they got events. You got to be in the rooms with these people to
yeah,
know what they're moving. Because if you're not, like similar to my area, a lot of the good deals can get passed under the table. And you're like, I never saw it on the market. You're
yeah,
not in the game. You
yeah,
got to play the game and be in the game to understand. Everything ain't touching the market.
yeah.
So it's just what it is. But if you play in the game, it's going to cross your table. It's
I,
just
I
going to
don't
cross
even
your table.
I don't even like that word, the game, and it almost sounds like you got to play it a certain way. But here's the thing, like, as long as you're there and you have a conversation, man, I can't even explain how many unlocks I've had. Let's just say doesn't have to do with a specific deal or something, but I catch something, I hear it in the language. Holy smokes, it just unlocks this new room of exploration, and you don't know what will bring you next. So, man, that kind of stuff, it's so stupid. Like I've heard it so many times, but just recently I've been thinking back as we're doing a lot of new stuff within Pebble and sort of exploring that side of things and
Mhm.
having a lot of conversations recently. It's just like, man, this is it's the best cheat code. Anyways, uh Rick, I lost your video there. Are you still around?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm still
cool.
around right here. You got me back?
I've got a gray square, so hopefully as we're recording, that'll pick up. But we're gonna keep going on here. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
let's
Yep,
keep
I
going.
see you now. All right, so we talked a little bit about meeting developers and uh, your help us understand. I've like you must be doing quite a bit of due diligence. When you're looking at properties, what do you typically look at when you're looking at a property that is, especially in that residential area?
Man, thankful for the system you got, it's very user friendly now, and I had a lot of challenges in the beginning. But as soon
Yeah,
as a lead come in and it clicks and it goes to new lead, we got like 20 tasks. And I got a admin that assists me. And we just got to go through each individual one. How much road frontage? Is there wetlands? AE flood zone? I mean, what type of flood zone is it? We got to go on the wetlands mapper. We have to go check the water, the sewer. We got to go on the county site. How much did it sell for last? How much comps? Just with the type of soil.
yeah,
I'm talking about we get down to the gritty. We got like 25 things and we got to check each and every last one. We run the land portal system. They got a thing called a slope report.
yeah.
So we're just checking everything you can think of to try to minimize any issues. And then what happens is after they check all of that, then it passes off to me. I'm the one that make all the offers typically.
Got you. Got you. Interestingly, and for the listeners, I don't know if you've ever used AI to help you with some of the due diligence process, but I've heard it's gotten really good now. So if you use something like ChatGPT's deep research, although I would think so recently Grok just topped the charts. I don't know what their Super Grok has some research functionality too. I've heard now using just the APN and the county, you can actually do quite a bit of research on the property now.
Oh,
Um,
and I
so
didn't know that, Jesse, because you
yeah,
know this. You know, I'm from the old school, man, from
yeah,
encyclopedias and dictionaries, man. So,
oh,
and I'm trying to keep up with this AI stuff, and I'm like, yo, like
yeah,
this doesn't even seem real. So every
yeah.
time somebody tell me something new, I'm slowly getting into it, but I'm not the tech guy. You know,
Hey,
yeah,
this is
my
what I'm
admit
talking
is
about.
techie, yeah. But
Yeah,
you're right, I gotta take advantage of them tools because right now I got her physically just jumping around. And
yeah,
she's like, she was out for 2 weeks recently. And
yeah,
for some reason, we pump out the mailers like 50 a day, 50 a day. And I had like 4 different campaigns going on. So she
yeah,
was out for 2 weeks, and to make a long story short, she came back. It was like 40 leads.
yeah, yeah,
So she
yeah,
had to go through each and every last one. So I'm like, dang, I wonder if there's a way to speed this up because I
yeah.
was messaging her about other things I needed
Yeah,
from her, but she
yeah.
was bogged down. And I was like, God, I was like, man, I gotta figure out a solution for this because, you just said it. That's the solution.
Isn't that crazy? You know what I mean? When you have a conversation and there can be a little bit of an unlock, it may not do anything for you. 10 out of, 9 out of 10 times, maybe not much. But it's sometimes you hear one thing, okay, cool. Now it may not work perfectly for you, right? Depending on the county, depending on what's out there for your,
Right.
AI to research. But hey, things are trending that way, and who knows? It might get you on track to think more in that direction. Anyways, by the way, if some of you guys, so here's the thing, we're talking about conversation. I'm going to do a little shameless plug myself. I hear a lot from people like, Revenue Rick to, I had Scott Morangel the other day, and, all these people. And like, not everybody listens to all my podcasts. So I've got a newsletter. I get to talk to not only business owners, but real estate investors. If you want to check it out, it's I'm horrible at business .substack.com. It's my Substack little thing there. And you can join the newsletter for those guys who want to check. And I did talk a little bit about that. Nonetheless, cool. What else, Rick, are you working on? I noticed are you dabbling in the mobile home space as well?
Man, that's what got me. That's it, man. I'm glad you got to that. The land and mobile home package, man. Everybody in my area is running to it,
Yeah.
but they could I could confidently say I'm one of the first people that started that around there. Confidently, you know.
Yeah, help
So
us understand that.
okay, I'll touch bases on exactly what it is, land and mobile home packages. Um, my area, I'm from the outer skirts of Charleston, South Carolina, and Charleston, that's one of the hottest markets right now in the United States. And I was searching for some type of affordability for people that made sense. So I was at the time when I was flipping houses, I used to flip mobile homes as well. I was flipping mobile homes and flipping houses and all of that, all at the same time. But for some reason, the flipping mobile homes I always made all the money. I don't know what it was. So I called a friend of mine who was a wholesaler, and I was like, where we from, we all grew up in trailers. They call it trailers. I don't call it that no more. It's a mobile home now. So if
Yeah.
people say trailer, I'm like, no, it's a mobile home, it's a home.
Yeah.
So we call it trailer. So we all grew up in there. And I was like, man, something about these mobile homes, man. I just think that's what we need to be doing. He
Yeah.
was like, man, I just don't see you making a bunch of money off a trailer. That was his word. I was like, man, I don't know, man. I just feel like that's where we moving. So to speed the story up, I talked to him. I talked to another friend of mine, and I said, bump it. I was trying to figure out where to go, how to go about doing it or whatever, and I talked to this lady. She helped finance it, and her name is Ann. I was like, Ann, what do you think about buying the mobile home new and selling it on the land? And she was like, her exact words was, if I had the money, that's what I would be doing. I remember it like yesterday. And that was the light bulb. I started out and I did a single wide, and that was hell. A lot of things happened and I learned a lot with that one. I still ended
Yeah.
up making 10 or 20 grand off of that one. And that was it. The next one I did with a friend. Man, we made 100,000. And after that, I said, hey, screw flipping, screw everything. This is where it's at. But what I like about it, I'm in both spaces. I got some the mobile home I could put on there, and I'm still dealing with the land and
Right.
the horizontal development of it as well. So that's what I like about it. And what we do is, for people that's unfamiliar with that means, mobile home has a title just like a car, and it's ran through your local DMV, right? You buy the mobile home, you buy the land, obviously, run the comps first and make sure they can sell, and you take it and you place it on the land, and then you detitle it. When you detitle it, what happens is it comes affixed to the land, right? And now the value shoots up because, again, like I said earlier, the land is where the money is. So now
Mm.
the bank feels a little bit more secure with lending a larger lump sum of money because now they own the mobile home and the dirt. And that's that's like my main thing. That's my baby right there. I'm luring away from it because I'm going majority to just land investing,
Yeah.
100% just land development, chopping it up and selling it off. But right now I'm helping my son learn it, and I'm just gonna let him deal with that and let him play with that. Cause every time I try to leave it alone and run, for some reason I go back and like right now I'm developing like 9 of them.
Wow.
I'm done with it. It's too much headache. But it's like it's just hard to get away from it.
Is there just a high demand for mobile homes?
It's the affordability.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And now people are realizing they're making a mobile home so nice, it's like regular houses. And now people are realizing like it's still a home. So
Yeah.
either you're gonna go pay 500,000 or 300,000 for point 15 and 1,100 square foot, or you're gonna come to me and spend 260 or 275 grand for an acre of land or more with 2,000 square foot.
Right.
Yeah, you're in a so-called trailer, but the value is based off of what everything else sells around it. So the value is there, and
Mm.
obviously you own the dirt, and you can do what you want. There's no HOA, there's no nothing. You got your land, you can garden, So that's the aspect of it, affordability and also space, and just getting more more homeowners out there.
Sure.
And a lot of people's like, well, why don't you rent it? Why don't you rent it? And I'm just like, that's not my lane. My focus is providing affordability and giving other people a chance to own something
Yeah.
in their lives, no matter how you sum it up. I own a lot of stuff already. You can't own everything and you can't keep everything. That's how I look at it.
I love that.
Uh,
Ricardo, as we sort of start wrapping up this show, is there
mhm.
sort of any last words of advice for, people that are, again, they're inland, they want to explore different exit opportunities like you, or just in general, do you sort of have
Yeah.
anything you want to leave with our listeners here?
My biggest thing I'm gonna tell people, I'm gonna stick to what I've been saying. Cat, make sure you have a qualified, good credit score, right? Have that. Use that credit score to borrow money if you want to get into any space, but really particularly the land space. You will have the opportunity to use that to build substantial amount of money. Unless you got a rich uncle, what 99.7% of us don't. My rich uncle is the local banks, okay? High credit score, go to the bank, borrow the money. You can use your W-2 income, use that money to obviously make more money. There's no other way to sum this thing up.
I
A
love that.
three-letter number will get you a lot of money, man. Like, just, it's what it is.
I love that. Um, Rick, how can our listeners be of use to you, or how can they engage with you? What's the best way for them to, reach out if you're open to that?
Yeah, you can email me at ricardo@selltopalmcoast.com. I'm open to answering questions on anything about this call, anything about land investing. Obviously, if you need to know what system to use, this is the guy, Jessey. So don't ask
Appreciate
me
that.
that. Just sign up for Jessey's, pebblerei.com. That's the number one land investing.
It's
It is
doing the
what it
plugs
is.
here for me.
Yeah, it's all in one. We make our calls. We send our mailers. Everything's there. We don't got to do nothing. We send the contracts through there. We email them. We call them. We talk to them. We do everything. So it's no couple hundreds. You got everything in one. And if you want to reach out to me, Ricardo at sellthepawncodes.com, revenue_Rick on IG, www.revenuerick.com. Either or, you can find me, and I'll be dropping tools and tips about money, about land investing, about
Yeah.
everything and things you can use to get some of the success that I've got throughout my lifetime.
Should people follow you anywhere on social media so they can see some of those tips and tools that you're talking about?
Yes. Yes, revenue_Rick.com. I mean, revenue_Rick on IG. You can look me up, and definitely, I'm dropping tips every day, and every day I'm dropping something new. It might be about money, might be about land, might be about business, but pretty much, just spreading the word so everybody can get the taste of it and jump out there and dirty dance like I like to do.
Love it. It's Rick with an just RIC, so it's revenue
RIC.
underscore RIC, and we'll make sure to include that in the show notes as well. Listen, Rick here, man, I was really impressed last time. I think we were on a couple calls, like how technical you are with certain things. I know we sort of talked at a very high level here, but it's crazy to see how you operate. But anyways, I know you ended up helping some of the people on that call when we had a group call, so really appreciate that. Please make sure you check out what Rick is up to. Again, we'll post his Instagram, we'll post his site on the show notes. Rick, it's been a pleasure having you on the show here. Would love to have you
Thank
back
you.
on when you're sort of trying something else new, or if you have anything else you want to share on the show, you're always more than welcome
Definitely.
to come back on.
Definitely. Okay,
Awesome.
thank you too, man. Jesse, appreciate your time, man. Appreciate you inviting me as well, brother.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. Take care.
All right, thank you, brother. All
Cheers.
right, peace.
Before you stop this episode or hit the next episode, I want to personally thank you for listening to this episode of the Land Investing Business Secrets podcast by Pebble. If you found this helpful, we'd greatly appreciate any awesome reviews and ratings on whichever platform you are listening to this on. And if you have 2 minutes and wanted to step it up even more and help others, feel free to share this in other Facebook groups or pages or any communities, giving others a heads up of the Land Investing Business Secrets podcast or the specific episode that may help them on their land investing journey. Once again, thanks so much for listening, and catch you on our next episode.